Hi Kingsgate kids, are you feeling like warriors today? Can you show me your fierce, brave face? Let's go. Now, can you show me your frightened face? I think everyone that was in Gideon's army had to have a fierce, brave face on them. So Gideon, just to recap, he was the smallest person from the smallest family in the smallest tribe. But today we're going to learn that he put together a huge army in order to fight the Midianites. And this army really was huge. Gideon's army was about the same size as all of the pupils in your primary school, plus 112 other primary schools all put together. That's about 32,000 people. It's a huge number. And today, I'm inviting you to be part of Gideon's army as well. Can you show me your fierce faces again? So Gideon thought this was great. He had such a big army, but the Midianite army, they had 132,000 people, or the number of people if you put 470 primary schools together. That's about 4 times the size of Gideon's army. Oh gosh, it might not be easy, but I think we could do this. We might just about get it done. We might win. So Gideon's feeling pretty good. He's got all of you. He's got God on his side. But then just before they're about to start, something strange happens. God thinks Gideon's army is too big. Even though it's smaller than the Midianite army, God still says it's too big. So God tells Gideon to release anyone who is too afraid to fight to go home. And several thousand people got up and left. Okay, now our numbers have gone down a little bit, but this isn't too bad, right? We've still got 10,000 people left. We might just win this still. But no, God says, Gideon, there are still too many people in your army. And he tells them to do something really strange to cut down the numbers even more. He asks the army to take a drink of water from the nearby stream. And this is where I need your help, okay? We're going to do a little bit of acting right now. This is what God says to do. And I want you to follow along. I want you to pretend like you're going to go and have a drink, and you're walking up to a river, and you kneel down, and you've got to pretend that the river's in front of you, and you're going to drink like some of the army did by putting your mouth into the water. So almost like you're a dog, kind of drinking the water like that. Okay, and some of the army chose to do that, and they, when they were looking down, they couldn't actually see what was around them. But some of the army chose to do something a little bit different. Some of them knelt up and they brought the water up to their faces, and they could still see everything that was going on around them. And God said, they're the people that I want to keep in this army, the ones that are still looking as to what is going on around them. And so you cut down the numbers even more. Those that knelt down went home, and those that brought the water up to their face stayed. And now there was about 300 people left, or about the size of 2 primary schools. Now, this was 400 times smaller than the Midianite army. We started at 4 times smaller, we're now 400 times smaller. In Kingsgate kids, this isn't looking good. I think the only way to win this battle is if God wins it for us. But you know what? That's exactly what God wanted. He was going to show them that if he really trusted in him, if they really trusted in their God, then their smallness really didn't matter at all. And you know what? It's exactly the same with us. If we hear God and do as he says, then it really doesn't matter how small we are. God can still bring a victory. Now, I hope our battles aren't going to be anything like Gideon's. I hope that we're not going to be having this sort of physical wars going on. But you know what? There are other battles that we might face, like arguments or upsets with our friends, that might really bring us down. But God can still have the victory in those areas too. In these times, we need to pray and we need to trust God and remember that he calls us to be mighty warriors. We can be fierce because God lives in us. Even when we don't feel it, it's a truth that we can trust in. God lives in us and makes us fierce. God will give us a plan, and ultimately the battle is God's, it's not ours. Being in God's army is the safest place to be. Our army might be small compared to the world, but just like Gideon, God always wins.